Royal Family Feud: How Queen Mother and Winston Churchill Ganged Up on Prince Philip. The Queen Mother enlisted the help of Winston Churchill to keep Prince Philip in his place and to restrict his duties, according to a leading royal historian. The much-loved matriarch and her son-in-law rarely saw eye to eye, and observers believe she never forgave him for having the temerity to ask for her daughter's hand in marriage, nor for his German heritage. Though officially a prince from Greece, the royal house Philip was born into was derived from German-Danish stock. When he first came to Britain in his school years, his surname was still Schleswig-Holstein-Sonderberg-Glucksberg, and he had relatives who fought for the Nazis in World War II. Philip renounced his titles shortly before his marriage, becoming a British citizen in 1947, and became known as Philip Mountbatten, his new surname being an anglicised version of his mother's German family name, Battenberg. Divisions in the House of Windsor erupted after the death of the Queen's father King George VI in February 1952. His reign began after the abdication of his elder brother Edward VIII in 1936, and his time on the throne lasted until his death 15 years later. The Queen Mother, who died in 2002, formerly Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon and the daughter of a Scottish earl, effectively ran the royal family as ill health took its toll on her husband. But she found it difficult to let go when her husband died. Historian Sarah Bradford suggested it was upsetting for the Queen Mother to see the power going to her daughter after the death of husband George VI. A widow at 51, she was being overshadowed by her 25-year-old daughter, but at the height of her she simply could not bear to let that happen. But it was the Queen's husband who bore the brunt. At the time, Philip had reluctantly abandoned his naval career and took on his role of price consort dutifully, bringing a fresh eye and a burning desire to modernize an outdated and creaking institution. A Channel 4 documentary, The Queen's Coronation, Behind Palace Doors, first shown in 2008, revealed the divisions in the royal family, with Philip determined to make changes. He saw savings could be made, thought some royal traditions were fit to be dumped, and that attitudes of the people who lived and worked in the palace had to be altered. But his mother-in-law was fiercely opposed to modernization, and it didn't help she still looked upon herself as queen. A contest between the two royals got underway. The Queen Mother made it clear her daughter's duty was to replicate King George's reign in every way. The coronation ceremony should be the same, she said, and although Philip was given the job of chairing the crowing committee, the real role would be carried out by the Duke of Norfolk, an ally of the Queen Mother, who was not going to change a thing. Looking for something helpful to do, Philip decided to visit Commonwealth troops who had flown into Britain to line the coronation route. Ordering a helicopter, he prepared to take off with his aide Mike Parker. However, this angered the Queen Mother, who, according to royal author Christopher Wilson, was appalled at the idea of him traveling round the country in anything so plebeian and unregal as a helicopter. Mr. Wilson added in an article in the Daily Mail, enlisting the support of the Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, the Queen Mother scotched her son-in-law's plan, leaving him with little or nothing to do, which is just the way she wanted it. The Queen Mother and Philip even disagreed over who should take the official photographs. Philip's suggestion was court photographer Baron Newham, but his mother-in-law stamped on that plan. Her preferred choice was Cecil Beaton. The matriarch was not alone in the campaign to undermine her daughter's husband. Sir Alan Lascelles, the all-powerful private secretary to George VI and then Queen Elizabeth II, didn't take to Philip either. So Philip's attempts at reform were blocked on all sides, with his wife siding with the old guard and his mother-in-law effectively still in the driving seat. He was left with little option but to look on from the sidelines, but did win the battle to televise the coronation. It was the BBC's idea, and Philip supported it in the face of opposition from the Queen Mother and Sir Winston, who said, "A religious ceremony should not become a theatrical performance." As months and years passed, the Queen Mother's hold on her daughter was loosened and Prince Philip became the mainstay in her life.